Okay, so let's take a look at what will be in the box when you purchase this dashcam. First off, we have the camera itself, of course. Remove this from the box, set it to one side, and then also remove the protective padding around the camera. And everything else you'll need will be in this black box underneath. So inside the box you'll find the mounting bracket for attaching the camera to the windshield of the vehicle, bolts to secure the camera to the bracket, and also a socket wrench in the same bag. The power supply cable and the box, and you can also buy an optional OBD2 adapter to connect to this, but we don't recommend using that for fleet vehicles as it will make the camera very easy to tamper with. You also have the discrete power cables, which are all labelled, and fuses. Find a USB patch cord, a crow plate for hiding the cables behind the panelling of the vehicle, and finally an alcohol wipe for cleaning the surface of the windshield before attaching the mounting bracket. Before beginning installation, check that the camera and all accessories are present and that you have the necessary tools. The installation guide which accompanies this video contains a list of the tools you need on pages 11 through 14. Insert the SIM and microSD cards into the appropriate slots, if this has not been done already. Locate the fuse box. This will be in a different location on every vehicle, so it will save time if you can review the schematic of the vehicle in advance. Decide where to place the camera. The angle of the forward-facing camera can be adjusted, so the camera can be placed either in the centre of the windshield or to the side. Remember, this device has a built-in driver-facing camera which is optional to use. If you do intend to use it, and you're installing the camera in a smaller vehicle with a rear-view mirror, such as a car, SUV or pickup, it's important not to obscure the driver-facing camera. However, the most important thing is not to obscure the driver's line of sight. When you've decided where to place the camera, clean the windshield and then attach the mounting plate. Be careful when doing so, as the 3M tape on the bracket is very strong, which means you can only do this once. Once the plate is secured, attach the camera by screwing in the bolts. Remove the panel on the A-pillar on the same side of the vehicle as the fuse box. Run the power cable down the A-pillar and then attach it to the factory wiring behind the airbag using zip ties. Connect the camera to the power cables and then hide the cables behind the headliner. You next need to connect the power cables to the ground, power and ignition wires. If you've purchased the optional OBD2 adapter, this step is not necessary. Again, we do not recommend using this adapter for fleet vehicles. Prep the cables by connecting the discrete power cable and the fuses to the main power cable, and then find the ground, power and ignition wires within the vehicle. To find 12-volt power, you can use a test light or multimeter. There are 3 options for connecting to power. Fuse tabs that go directly onto the fuse, known as spade connectors. These are small, unobtrusive, and keep the fuse box watertight. Adder circuits. These are larger than spade connectors, but are also an unobtrusive wiring method. If you're unable to use fuse tabs or adder circuits, you can use a military splice. This is where you separate the wires, put the wires from the camera between them, and then wrap them around. Once the wiring is complete, turn on the ignition to check that the camera powers up correctly. You can then replace any panels you remove from the vehicle and follow the calibration instructions. Once installation is complete, there are 2 parts to the calibration process. First, turn on the ignition and call tech support to check that the unit is online for GPS tracking. The second part is to calibrate the AI features for both the forward-facing camera and the driver-facing camera if you intend to use this. To calibrate the AI features, you can either use the Waze or FT Vision apps. In this video, we'll show you the process using Waze. Install the Waze app on your phone or tablet, then sit in the driver's seat and turn on the ignition. When the lights on the camera come on, go to your device's Wi-Fi settings and connect to the camera. It may take up to 2 minutes for the network to appear. The Wi-Fi network from the camera will begin with ST, and the rest of the name will be the serial number, which you can find on a label on the side of the camera. When you're connected to the camera's Wi-Fi, open the Waze app. The default username and password combination are admin, but if these don't work, check the credentials with your IT department, as these might have been changed. Enter the username and password and tap Login. First, we'll look at the forward-facing camera. Measure the height from the ground to the camera lens and make a note of this. In the Waze app, tap Preferences, Alarm, AI app, Algorithm, then enter the height of the camera and tap Save. If you will not be using the driver-facing camera, installation is now complete. If you do intend to use it, adjust the angle of the lens so that it can clearly see the driver and passenger seats. To assist with this, tap Preview to see the view from the camera while you're adjusting the lens. When happy with the angle, tap AI Calibration, DMS, Channel 2, Calibration, and follow the on-screen prompts to complete the process.